So let's get into the design of this. I use Fusion 360 to do the design work. It's a pretty easy tool to use if you're familiar with CAD. If you're not familiar with CAD, you know, it might be a little tough to jump into, but you can download Fusion 360 for free if you're a hobbyist from autodeskfusion360.com, or do a Google search for Fusion 360. And in this case, I like it because I can do a lot of the design work, and then it has all the machining operations in it as well. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on the first sketch, and I'm going to roll this. This is kind of a history of the entire thing. And I'm going to go back to the first sketch. So you can see I have a sketch here, and this sketch pretty much dictates the size and shape of pretty much all those components. So think about this as a cross-section through this, and then all the components I create, I extrude from this sketch. And if I ever want to change the width or any information here, I do it from this sketch. I do have some parameters in here. In fact, I'm going to make that a favorite. You'll notice I have thickness. That's my lumber thickness. I think pretty much everything in here, with one exception, is 0.5 inches. And the exception is the little foot rest out front. But everything else is 0.5 inches and the dowel. So if I wanted to make that 1/4 of an inch or larger, I could change the value here and everything would update. But I'm just going to step through piece by piece here. You can see that I took that sketch, I extruded everything, I shelled it out. You can see I have I removed the top and the bottom and the side, and that's just with the shell command. I extruded a base in there, and then I offset it into the part a little bit so I can get those nice cutouts. And then I split everything, so you'll notice that I have multiple bodies here. So I could turn off, you know, any of these parts, and I can see, you know, each of them individually. So I created that box by extruding it. I split it into multiple bodies, and then from here I created the base, you know, just the bottom seat, and in a second we create the back rest, and then extrude the dowels and the holes. So you can see I actually have holes. Well, a little bit hard to see there, but I have, let's turn off one of the axles. You can see that we have the hole there, and we have the axle itself. And let's move forward a little bit more. You can see that we created a wheel, not really quite where I wanted it to be, but we extrude it, put a spoke in it, and then pattern that around so we have all the spokes. Make multiple copies of it, so I have 4 of them, and then in a minute we'll assemble that where they need to be. So with that, we also need that bonnet around the top, so I used our sculpt environment, which just allows me to kind of freeform make a piece that kind of fits up over that, snap all the wheels into place. And the cool thing with these wheels is they're all set up with joints, so as I drag that, everything updates as you would want it to. And then one of the cool things in the back, let's just turn off that sketch, we don't really need it now. I cut out material on each of the sides, and then I engraved Cotton on the back, because that's the family name for this fictitious, the fictitious family name for this wagon. So that's pretty much the overall design. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, just in case you want to use this and make changes, if you open up the model, you can parametrically change the size of that. So I can just, you know, type in 14 and change the size. If I get rid of that dimension and return out, you'll notice that the entire design updates, so it's now longer because I changed that dimension from 12 inches to 14. So these side panels are longer, the bottom is longer, everything else has stayed the same. I can also just dynamically kind of drag that around if I delete that 12-inch dimension. So if I'm just kind of playing around with how big do I want this thing to be, I can drag it around to get it to be about the size that I want it. So it's, you know, a nice way to just conceptually kind of pull and adjust. So if you want to go in and make any edits, you can go about it that way and make any changes.